I expect better out of Black, honestly.
Okay,
the team's been a little bit of disarray.
We're going to head into the draft where there's plenty of discussion to be had, both positive and negative, of course, as we head into game number 1 between Fnatic and Newbee. Queen of Pain is the first ban.
So I think the one interesting thing about Fnatic here, cast a lot of their games coming into this event, is they are drafting a lot more stably, and I think over the past month and a half or so, drafting has been the team's biggest issue. There are games where Mushi just picks Mirana Shadow Demon, kept on picking it, kept on losing with it. They've experimented a lot. We've seen Necrophos picks, Disruptors. They've been all over the place, but I felt like that series, even though they lose outside of Game 3, I thought Games 1 and 2 they had a pretty solid draft, so that's important to me.
Purge, where are we going with this one? Wyvern has just been banned out. What do you get the sense of for Fnatic? I mean, LD's right. They can draft all over the place, can't they?
I'm a little worried about their rotation of positions, basically, because I feel like when teams do that, they're basically saying we're on the last dregs of our team chemistry and things are not working and we don't know what to do. Let's swap up roles. And it wasn't very long ago that Mushi was playing mid. So them swapping again, it makes me feel like they're just doing whatever they can to say, we got a shot, let's give it our best shot, but we're not sure how to do it.
With the Wisp in right now, and not with the second pick, are they going to be looking for their signature? I mean, they said, you heard Black say in the interview, we went our signature route, and we kind of lost.
Do you really want to go Tiny IO first 2 picks? I mean, it's not a weak combo by any means, but it also puts your entire draft on the table from the beginning. Yeah. So
it also sends
got 5 picks to respond.
But it also sends a message, doesn't it, that says, well, EG can beat us using it. Okay, we accept that. EG, best team, favourites. Okay, they can beat, but can anyone else beat us?
I don't know.
I mean, it's got a good win rate, but they banned the Winter Wyvern as well, so that's one of the major counters, but I don't have a huge amount of faith in it. The Newbee goes with the Darkseer Spirit Breaker combo.
It's the first time we're going to see the Spirit Breaker on this stream. A bit excited about that. I feel like we've seen way too little of it.
It's 3-0 right now.
Especially because we've covered EG in a lot of the games, and I, again, just gonna say this one more time. I think Fear plays a great Spirit Breaker from the 4 position. Would have loved to see him play it.
It was VP picking him, I think, previous games. I watched at least one of them.
Yeah, that was against Newbee.
That was the that was like the 80-minute game. It was so long, Donobuff didn't even record it.
Yeah. Are you serious?
This game is too ridiculous. We've had 2 of those today now.
Yeah, Spirit Breaker is 3-0 from 3 games so far.
I mean, I like this a lot because you're running Spirit Breaker Darkseer. You know most likely the Tiny IO want to go mid. So now if they do that, you can really punish the off lane. You can put a lot of pressure there. The Darkseer probably gets experience on his own. So if you want to rotate the Spirit Breaker, you have that option as well. I feel like really good response here from Newbee early on in the draft.
I like that point as well. And then if the IO shifts to the top lane or close to where the Spirit Brick is, throw an Iron Shell on him, charge him over, and all of a sudden, even with 2 levels, he's actually a huge threat to a solo IO. It's just a +1 rotation from the mid, and you can definitely get kills there. So that's a really good point. Spirit Brick is going to allow them to pressure the dual mid that normally can just absolutely one-sided match up any solo hero.
You can also contest the stacks with the Darkseer, so that's something else that Fnatic have to be careful about.
That's true.
So they banned Bristleback. I know Winter's on record as saying that this is like the counter to Tiny IO. He kept on saying it during the qualifiers, and then Bristleback died like 5 times to the combo. But
why does he say that? Because it survives the one shot, and then you can...
And then the IO has very low base armor, so the quills stack up and get scary. But if you get out of position, he tosses you back into tower. Well, GG.
There was a few Chinese teams that were picking Bristle very successfully, but I don't think it was Newbee. There was one team that was like 3-0 with him, so.
What do you think, Jacob, so far?
I mean, I chime in more, but I think the Russian cast has brought in KFC, and I can smell it, so it's really taking away all my attention. I've completely lost focus.
I mean, you're contributing so much that, we couldn't possibly afford to lose you from the draft, so please, don't leave, Jacob.
I'm mostly distracted by the battle cries that I hear. Like, the intro came in, Red Eye's about to talk, and some guy just like, ah! And he does it twice.
It's who are the ones yelling? Because there's like certain teams that just go.
It is quite. We should explain. It is quite communal here. We're all kind of in one giant room.
Everyone has their own rooms, but they're not like
they're all in a giant
soundproof
room.
by any means.
Yeah.
You gotta assume it's VG Gaming or No Tail from OG, right? Of the teams playing today, those would be the loudest.
Definitely Johan right now, guaranteed.
I can't wait for the day when we get an ROTK no-tail showdown.
I don't think I've seen that
to wear earbuds.
It's almost 2 years ago. We saw that in Poland at at an ESL 1.
That was amazing. That was a lot of fun to watch. So they go into Bane. This hero has really been gaining popularity.
It's decent against Wisp Tiny, relatively.
And a fast Shadow Demon.
Fnatic sticking to this Shadow Demon pick.
This is, what, the third time we've seen this now?
Are you guys convinced by the Shadow Demon? I have not been
No, not
convinced
at all. And they've, like, both their losses to Evil Geniuses was with this hero as well.
Yep.
They're actually mimicking the lineup. If they pick up a Lina now as well, we're en route to their loss against EG.
So at that point, we can just shut the stream down. We'll come back in an hour.
We're on the same road.
So they get the Radiant Shadow Feed. And a lot of teams, this will even be banned first stage, but versus Newbee, it does sneak through a little bit.
I just feel like Shadow Demon doesn't pair super well with Tiny. I mean, it's mostly used to do Tiny's disabled, let's buy him some time to pop his BKB. And I feel like the combo with Tiny is just not as good. And you also can't set up like Disruption into Avalanche Toss combos as easily because there's going to be illusions there, you might mess it up.
This is literally the exact same draft, except they don't have the Tusk yet.
And Tusk is banned now, so they'll have to grab something else.
Alright.
And Tusk was actually the only redeeming factor in that game.
Newbee's having mercy. They're like, we're not going to let you lose the same way. You have to try something different, Mushi.
So it is an offlaner again, which makes it... Clockwork isn't half bad. It's pretty good against Bane and Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, I mean, well, Clockwork's bad as well. So.
Oh, there it is. I'm sitting in Blitz's position and I'm taking over his eyesight.
You know, Jacob, you were talking so much about the blow and the hookers before the event, but apparently KFC is your real kryptonite.
That was a private conversation, LD. You're like Merlini over here.
I have the screenshots to prove it. Should I go make a vlog about it?
I think you should definitely make a video.
Yeah, Chrissy's gonna have to play something different. You leave your offlane. They've banned arguably 5 offlaners at this point. So
Chrissy's a very, very good player, though. He can definitely do random things.
Well, I guess in this case, Chrissy will be on the IO most likely, so it'll be Ohio in the offlane, but still, like they're gonna have to pick something different.
Plenty of respect involved in those bans, though.
Yeah. It is a great Beastmaster ban. Definitely what they needed, and one of Ohio's more successful heroes.
Yeah, good on Dire obviously helps you kind of fight around the Roshan pit, gives you the vision control.
There is a win ranger. I mean,
offlane? Unless you're saying dual lane with Shadow
it used to be very popular on the offlane.
Yeah, but
I mean, you can't leave
surely.
Lita solo though.
I mean, you don't even know what the carry of Newbee is. Well, they will in a moment. That's really what's going to
Nature's Prophet, another hero that Ohio has played a lot.
Okay, Chrissy can play that as well.
It's not bad with the Wisp, combos well with it.
Juggernaut.
This is the counter to the burst, just Blade Fury. They can't really combo you. Unless they like toss you back to tower, you're not gonna die.
It's the carry that stops the Shadow Demon plus anything, basically.
See, this is what this is what I don't really like about the way Fnatic are drafting. It's like they're kind of pigeonholed into one style of play. They don't leave like the options open. Like you pick Darkseer or Spiritbreaker, you don't have to go dual lane, but you can, and you can crush them. They don't show their mid. Fnatic's lanes are on the table very early, so Newbee has the entire draft to respond. They're gonna grab the Earthshaker now. Pretty big playmaking offlaner, but he's not been winning lately, guys. Earthshaker's been getting dumpstered.
Has not been winning at all. Thank you very much, LD Purge and Jacob here on the panel. That's their thoughts. Let's find out the thoughts of our commentary team, who are busy and ready and waiting to bring you game number 3 in Group A.
Thank you very much, Paul. Yes, we are here to cover game number 1 of Fnatic versus Newbee. We are the professional and focused people. We keep our mind on the job, and we will not defile your wonderful, perfect ears, like the panel did just before.
Expert panel. That was pretty top tier.
Yeah.
It was LD, Purge, and Milk. What is that? A collective MMR of like 20? Just like... You know I can say stuff like that because I know I'm gonna get it back at some point.
They've got a higher rank in CS:GO.
True.
That's what they've got. Well, let's get into it, man, because the game is already underway. Fnatic, it felt like I was having a stroll down memory lane. That was the first series I got to cast today, which was Fnatic versus EG. Seeing the Wiz Tiny come up as the first 2. And then the follow-up ST, they couldn't get the coordination last game. I'm wondering if they're going to be capable of doing it in this game.
This is the combination where, if all else fails, almost every team has this in their arsenal. The ability to go for the Tiny Wisp. Your backs are against the wall. You really don't want to be in the lower bracket if possible. So I think that you definitely try to shoot for something that will guarantee you a little bit less burden. You take this game, then you've got that 1 game buffer that you can worry about. You can try something a little bit different, but go for the free win here if you can. And this is about as close as it kind of gets.
This is the same thing they did. They're trying exactly this. If this works, like
Tossing somebody in there.
yeah, they did it before. They cliffed the Tidehunter of Universe.
Dude, nobody falls for that twice. You think Dota players will just fall for it?
Well,
Toby,
look at this.
You think people
They're
will
all
just fall?
there. They are all there.
Toby, who's
Wait
gonna
for
fall
the
for this
finish
twice?
line. It's gonna be the Spirit Breaker, but he can charge himself back down again at least. The Rune's gonna go to the Bounty Hunter, and Chispunk charges himself off the hillside. They might even find themselves first blood. Ohio in the bottom of the river. They go for the razors to start with. Chispunk will start with the body block as well. One more long range race. That'll do the job. Moo will not only get the 100 rune, but he'll take the first blood off Fnatic. Well, they fell for it, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
All right, so the thing is, if it was any other hero, I would have said worse. Like, if they had done that to the Shadow Fiend, even if he gets the kill there, it's okay. But because it was the Spirit Breaker, Black could have been maybe a little bit more patient with who he decided to go for. And he's trying to get Mood tossed into Chrissy right now, but that's just way too far away. Like, you're never going to make that distance.
Yep. Okay, so he tried to do this as well. It was the same matchup. It was TZ sitting on the SF, and every time Black came forward, you could see the movement forward to get the toss back. He attempted this combo time after time, and it never functioned. So that's why my questions are still here. Like Jacob was saying, is like, we just come back in like an hour. We understand that this game is going to be over soon, just because you need to it's deja vu. In a way, unless he gets his combo off, unless they get momentum. That was their biggest problem in the last game. Black just really couldn't find much control. The lanes weren't really working because it was an aggro dual lane against them. So the farm was a little bit more heavily in favor of EG in that matchup, where Newbee this time around, it's a little bit more balanced. The SS not running away, even though he does grab first blood. And the Darkseer is not going to get as much. They're trying to keep 2 out of the lane. And Net can do a good job at that.
Yeah, they're doing a pretty good job of it right now. They have a kill combination in this lane, in the Lina and the Shadow Demon. That's one of the more iconic ones that we've seen in Dota 2 so far. It kind of reminds you of before in Dota 1 days where it was like the basic combo setups where you had like Sven plus Lina, and at top, they're going to get the Disrupt off, but the sleep happens at the same time.
Really nice avalanche to come in from Black. He's got the toss available. They're going to throw that SF up. Moo goes for one raise, two raise, and the Brain Sap is able to kick in as the SF is actually able to get the IO down. With Chispug charging himself in, it'll end up being a 2-for-1 trade-off. But it does give a kill over to Black, so you trade 2 supports for the mid SF.
But that's okay because eventually that mid SF is going to catch up. I always kind of look at it as if a support goes down early, you're never going to give him the dedicated space to be able to catch up. But the Shadow Fiend, he can just go into the jungle stacks, go to the big camp, start to raise out and farm, and it won't impact him as much into the mid game as it will if you lose a support that early.
I suppose in a way, though, it's okay for the Wisp because he is going to stick around with Black for those stacks. But if these stacks don't work, then you're in a world of hurt. Like, you've already got DJ who's managed to get himself... Okay, there's going to be 2 triple stacks available for Black, and we're only 3 minutes into the game so far. So he's been very vigilant with this so far.
You've got to be. When the laning phase doesn't go this well and you feed the first blood to Moo, and on top of that you give him another kill to go along with it, you have to have some way to come back into the game. You notice even Moo's going to go for that deny right there and make this lane even more difficult for Fnatic is... They want to be able to get aggressive on the Shadow Fiend, but he's not giving them out opportunities. And most importantly, if you just look at the level of Black right now, he's only level 3. He's going to go for the combination again, but...
Now he's going to get payback.
He gets triple raised here.
1 raise, 2 raise, 3 raises! Barely being kept alive by the Wisp. Black scrambles himself back to the tier 1 tower while on bottom lane, the spin from Hal. Does this work after the charge came in from the Spirit Breaker? So Earthshaker drops this off lane. Not played as much as a core offlane. Earthshaker is having a rough start.
And the thing is, Toby, is Newbee's lineup is just going to get more and more aggressive as the game goes on. A hero like Juggernaut is not a passive farmer, nor is a Darkseer and a Spirit Breaker. And this is what I was talking about when it came to levels. Imagine, you're a level 4, level 5 Wisp when you should be level 6, and you have to be up against an Ion Shelled Spirit Breaker. How do you survive against that? Your early game just has to go a lot better than it is right now. Even the Lina, like we saw in the last game when EG played it, this is not a hero that's meant to be playing defensively, because you'll go down anyways.
And well, at least Mushi can start getting aggressive in about a half-level time. And Net may give him that opportunity now. Rotating up, Disruption, the catcher, Mushi, Light Striker Ray. This time around, he's able to hit up the combo. But too late. He's already tanky enough as the Darkseer. He can just back himself out. And this is when you start to see the problem with the levels of the supports. Previously, Ned did go for that third, like the third level was put into poison, but he doesn't actually have that option against the Darkseer this time around because he doesn't have the levels. And DJ is still waiting to go with Black to do these stacks, but Black is in no position to really do it. He's got the mana, but no health.
He's only level 4 right now. He's immediately going to go back to base. It's not really that many stacks too, where it's going to make that big of a game-changing difference either. Moo's able to double raise just to zone out.
But Banana can scout them out and understand they're here at least. Yeah. And he brought an observe ward, so with that obs down, they'll understand when Tiny and Wisp leave the lane.
Yeah, this is going to make it difficult to continue to get ahead if you're Fnatic. And as it stands right now, they are getting pretty far behind. The Juggernaut is getting more or less free farm. At just 5 minutes into the game, it's already a 2,000 net worth difference. And this is a lineup that wasn't really meant to be behind early. They've got so many kill combinations on their team, but they just haven't been able to utilize it quite yet. And this is all on the heels of Moo playing so defensively in this mid lane. And despite how defensively he's playing, Toby, he's still leading in CS.
Because he's an SF. It's just what he does. Hilarious thing is, too, he's still got himself a stack available. There's a triple stack sitting inside the Radiant jungle ready for him.
I think it's even less the fact that it's an SF, because the SF should be killable for this combination. It's that he makes sure to zone them out with raises first.
Ohio gonna steal this double
Huge
damage room,
engagement.
but the Omni Slash, the Nightmare's there too, so Ohio's been pushed back. A perfect spin combo. There was no time for the Earthshaker to react. In fact, even DJ in trouble having to stick charge himself up. Bottles as well. Black has no avalanche to help him out, and 4 heroes from Newbee. They want to keep running through here. 1 for the kill, and 2, now they can take out the stacks because they're here in force with Fnatic being down players.
They're pinging it like crazy. They want to go for this if possible. They know that this is their best opportunity to invade the jungle for free. The Earthshaker's in no real position to be able to contest this either. Mushi's going to come in, and he knows that they're low on mana. Maybe this is going to be an opportunity for them, but Newbee's running away quickly, and
they need
he's actually going to maybe be caught out here. As Black's going to try to toss Mushi forward, possibly?
Oh, I think he wants to toss Ned. The problem is they need to have that stun for, but yeah, they are going to throw Mushi in. Light Striker Ray only connects on Moo, but it is enabling them to get that kill. The follow-up Fisher is on the wrong side, however. Chistbug, is there a gap? There is one. Black's got tossed back up again, but that's why the Nightmare from Banana makes it so Fnatic can't keep chasing that way, but they will still catch up Banana. There's your toss forward. So Tiny will take the kill, but they still lost one of their stacks. The other one was not scouted out by Newbee.
Still, I don't know if that's 100% worth it. You lose some momentum in that fight, and if you just look at the recap, that's 1,000 gold that went the way of Fnatic right now, and this is going to help them get a little bit of a foothold back into the game, because as it stood, it was climbing up to almost 4K at just 7 minutes into this game. So it's important that Fnatic was able to punish that, and most importantly, they were able to kill the Shadow Fiend, who was starting to get a little bit out of control.
He did still, however, get the 2 kills before that rotation happened. So maybe the question mark comes after that if they should have stuck around as long as they did. But it's a Fnatic lineup, and you can't really blame him. When the Earthshaker's back so far, you're not really feeling like he's going to be there to give that extra control they require, like that Fissure lock-in.
I think if they just started running a little bit sooner, they would have been okay in that situation, but when you're going against a lineup that has that many reliable stuns, you have to book it a lot sooner, especially when Mushi decides to go for the phase boots. That means when he gets tossed immediately after, the stun is almost always going to be there. Like, he's going to chase down the Shadow Fiend no matter what.
It's another time we see Mushi go for these phase boots. He did it previously today. Is this, like, what's the advantage of going phase boots over something else like Arcanes or whatever for the Lina?
I think the Arcanes doesn't properly utilize the amount of damage that she can put out. Like, the phase boot damage that you get in conjunction with the Fiery Soul. And on top of that, the ability to get that extra burst of speed to catch up and land your Light Striker Ray independent of the Yule Scepter, I think is really important.
I suppose when you also got the Yule Scepter too, you got your movement speed, you've got your...
Exactly.
Yeah, you've got your regeneration, more importantly.
Tiny is so happy. He's in like 8 Mud Golem family. This is brutal, dude. It just feels like he's slaughtering his own family.
Wow.
For the cause. Did you see that? There's just like 8 Mud Golems
dude,
surrounding Tiny.
Dude, there is very removed cousins. They're not even rocks. They're only mud.
Wow, that feels like... I'm not even going to go there, but...
You started it.
So Tiny's going to grab a few of those stacks to kind of catch up, but if we look at the difference in net worth, it continues to tick up for the side of Newbee right now, and this is just because they're getting a lot more reliable farm. Mushi can't play as aggressively. He has to play back in these lanes, and nobody's really utilizing this top lane. Ohio can't really get close to these creeps because of the Ion Shell.
He can't flash farm from range either. He really wants to. He wants his creep wave to push out so he can pick up the ring from the side shop and have his soul ring finally. And now the creep wave is going to be able to do that, and he can pick it up without having to waste the time in the courier, which is already working overtime.
This Spirit Breaker is getting level 6 pretty quickly too, Toby. And this is something that we haven't really talked about, but the level 6 Spirit Breaker in conjunction with the level 4 Ion Shell is top 3 scariest things when you're an under-leveled, under-farm support. Okay. How do you actually survive against that?
You don't really, but this is where my mind is actually still going back to the strength of what we saw from this draft of Fnatic previously, where they get this Aghanim Scepter at a pretty decent timing for Black. They sacrifice a lot to make sure he gets this, and then it turns into a split game. And I'm looking at Fnatic's lineup thinking, okay, how is Newbee going to catch them out? Yes,
Breaker.
You've got Spirit Breaker's charge, but if you're relocate pushing this, or you got the ability to relocate out, what is the Spirit Breaker really going to achieve? Goodbye, Lena.
Okay, that is...
that's
significant, too. That's a solo for...
top
pretty much
lane.
nothing.
Maybe they can get a revenge. Ohio, the fissure, really good line here, and he goes into the follow-up Echo Slam. The control is just so huge, but the mech is still up, and with the back in, and the charge in, it's going to be a double for Newbee. SF and Darkseid are doing the work. New had time to arrive, and Tule is just running himself away.
What a bait.
Oh.
Waits for the last possible second to pop that mech, realizes that he needs to bait that for as long as he possibly can, throws down the wall vacuum, the charge is there. This Spirit Breaker has just paid dividends for right now for Team Newbee. 1, 0, and 5 already, and I mean, this is what we were talking about. The charge is going to make such a big difference. They do have the relocate in this mid lane, but Banana's going to wait for it, and DJ should be able to get out of here.
Yeah, there's no reason for SB to come anywhere near underneath towers unless the rest of his teammates are there. But, man, Fnatic, that really wasn't the dream. Maybe bringing the extra help in, but I has only just hit level 6. So you look down towards that bottom lane, look for the relocates to come in right now from Chrissy to work with Black.
The problem, though, is you're relocating either onto a Juggernaut that has spin or a Darkseer that now has the mech completed, and the Shadow Fiend is not going to show himself on the map, or he shouldn't anyways. So what he most likely does is just play on his side of the river at all times, and it forces Fnatic to get into these situations, Toby, where they have to invade deep into the jungle, but there's only so many times that you can do that and get away with it before you kind of just lose the game, because your lack of physical damage is going to be a little bit overpowering. And on top of that, if we just look at Mushi's farm, he's not really developing into a core.
Yeah.
Like when you're playing on the dire side like this, you want to be able to control map control so that you can go for things like the Roshan eventually, so you can go for the split push. And a large part of that has to do with getting control of the Radiant jungle, but they just haven't been able to do that this game.
And how are you meant to do that anyway when you're running both an Earthshaker as well as a Lena as your cores? Like, you're still, reliant on the Tiny? They don't really have great supports either from Fnatic to dive into the Radiant jungle and feel like they got enough lockdown, enough control. I'm just not feeling it. I'm going to feel it even less once Smooth finishes this BKB. We're 13 minutes in and he just requires the recipe, and he's already about 800 gold towards that recipe.
All right.
Once that's up, there's nothing that's touching him.
So the Lina close to the Yule Scepter. They're going to go for the smoke right now. I really like this idea. I think you have to try to pop somebody immediately and take advantage of the fact that Newbee is split up farming and trying to get a little bit more.
The fact you have relocate as well ready to go.
Yeah, if you just farm at this static pace, Toby, you pretty much just lose the game by default.
Here they come. They found Move. The smoke actually being used by Newbee at the same time. Oh, the Fury Flare, but then the Nightmare. You will have Black arrive, so it will be a 1-for-1 trade-off.
Oh,
It's going to be 1 for 2, but it's a little bit of time. Saved by Net, and DJ, he's not getting out of this one. It's a 3-for-1. You got Net in the run being chased down by the Darkseer, but he'll pop as well, and Black, the sole survivor, TPing himself back to base. Newbee, they are walking all over the Malaysians.
You see, they decided to go for that excursion into the jungle because you have to do that. But at the same time, for that to go that disastrously, Banana played that so well, getting the sleep off to nullify the effects of the Echo Slam. They had to waste so many abilities to nail the Shadow Fiend, and after that, everybody from Newbee floods in. If you notice, the Juggernaut already has a 14-minute Battle Fury, coupled with 1,200 gold already, and this game is officially in the out-of-hand territory.
It really is. Like, you're already up at 8,500 experience advantage. You've cracked the 10k mark already for the gold. 14 minutes in, Black is being charged down. The Avalanche will keep Chissbug away.
How is just really styling right now on Mushi at every turn. Going for the solo kill on him at bottom, taking the tower right in front of him with the spin. Time and time again right now, he's just putting on a clinic, and the one position Juggernaut is definitely paying out for them. He's almost going to finish that Yasha. The Shadow Fiend has a BKB now, and this was the hero that you were hoping to keep behind as much as possible so that they couldn't go for the 5-man. But it's going to become an eventuality at this point, as it's just about done.
It seems like it's just so risky in the lanes of Fnatic. Like, so many things have to go right for this draft to work. While Newbee is like, everything has to go okay. And then you jump back, and then you flash farm. Like, you got Darkseid, you can go into the jungle. SF, you can go into the jungle. The Juggernaut, who had all the space in the world because the Earthshaker couldn't pressure him enough on the safe lane. So with all this going together, like, you had Space Cow run from one side of the map to the other, helping whoever is in need.
I think it was just a lot of less team errors and more just individual mistakes that Fnatic decided to go for. When they went for the cliff, right? It cost you an Earthshaker to put a Spirit Breaker on a cliff for 3 seconds. And that just wasn't worth it. That helped the Shadow Fiend so much when it came to the 2-on-1 lane that he was against, and this might be the opening that Fnatic needs.
It could be. Quick pick over on Chissbug, so the Spirit Break. He's going to stick charge and make him work a little bit harder for it. And meanwhile, Banana, the Vac, the wall, net dies so quickly. The Fiend's Grip control followed up by that Brain Sap. It's just so much damage. Ohio just needs to fissure and buy some space. There might have been the call for the Wistani to relocate in, but there was no reason for it. To take a 1-for-1 trade-off and back up, forcing rotations from Newbee.
I don't think you risk it anymore. You've got the Aghanim Scepter completed on Black. The only unfortunate thing about this right now, Toby, is that he's so under-leveled. He's only level 9, so even with the Aghanim Scepter...
It's actually exactly the same level he was at when he got the Aghanims up against EG.
I mean, look at how hard he struggles to hold that stick up, Toby.
It's big.
It's not easy. It's comical.
That's back problems.
Yeah,
right
it's like
there
a
for
baby
Black.
trying to lift weights, man. It just can't happen. You're only level 9. You've got some growing up to do, but...
One day he'll graduate to elementary school.
I mean, that's what's got to happen at this point. You've got to hit the level 11. You've got to start pressuring the towers, but... You got to split the map a little and take some risks as Newbee. They're just getting a lot more farm around the map as a team.
I'm wondering if Newbee now try and force down the lanes. Like, is this when you can group up as 5? You don't have the mech. Actually, sorry, I take that back. You do have the mech over on the Darkseer. Almost a full Greaves, in fact, for him. With the BKB on the SF, do you just have enough confidence that you just push into tier 2 towers? Or is there a way or an approach you should be taking to deal with what the Wistani offers?
I think when you're getting this far ahead when it comes to net worth, it doesn't really matter what you do. You can continue to hold pace, because we saw what happens when Newbee splits up in farms. They just continue to get ahead, and when Fnatic tried to take advantage of the fact that they're split up, which is the correct move, by the way, they just got annihilated into that jungle.
Yep.
You make another move like that, you give up a Roshan.
Fnatic, they're walking into almost all of Newbee. The smoke will pop. Fnatic, though, they saw that.
Yeah, this is the GG fight. If
They're going in for Roshan. This could be... Okay, well... Poison reveals what's going on.
Do you really want to do this right now? I don't think this is the best opportunity for Newbee right now, because they don't have the best vision. If you take this fight and you lose it, you could just send control back the other way.
It seems to be giving an opportunity as well to Fnatic, an opportunity which normally wouldn't exist unless you made that choice.
Yeah, the charge is going to go on Black right now, but
he's got the safety. There's the relocate out and relocates off cooldown. So even though Chissbug starts this one, Black with the Avalanche, they go for the Nether Strike, and the relocate save is starting up already, and it'll drag Black out. The toss will happen, Banana drops low, and Wisp will just have to sacrifice his life. Before this, the bottom tier 1 tower is being attacked. Moo's going to come down to defend it, and that tower is 1 HP away from deny range.
Yeah, he's going to desperately push it out as far as he can. The Juggernaut's going to get the last hit at top. Smartly not bringing the Tiny back in. At bottom, Moo, he's not really in territory for them to be able to go for the instant burst.
Oh,
so they're just going to avoid it.
They got a Blink Dagger, however, over on Hal. You want to have him in the territory. They got the range just to blink forward into an Omni Slash when you find an isolated hero.
Yeah, this distance closing is something that they did lack, aside from the Spirit Breaker, so the ability to chase to the Juggernaut is going to be pretty huge. You don't want him to get kited if at all possible, but look at the speed at which he farms right now. He's already level 15, just 19 minutes into the game. I don't know the stats for that because I'm not in the Haas, but I have to imagine it's pretty significant right now.
It's definitely comfort zone as well, like massively for Newbee. And they might find another one. It's Ohio, directly commits the Fiend script, so there's no way for this Earthshaker to escape. And this ES, time and time again, falling behind. You get the Blink Dagger. Like, you get 2 Blink Daggers over on Newbee, and you're still desperately scratching to find a farm to get it onto Ohio. And he needs that. They need that quick jump in, Echo Slam, instant stun, so the rest of Fnatic can follow up.
The problem right now is that the only hero that can really afford to farm that far out is the Tiny, because he always has the safety of the Wisp. But even at this phase of the game, you know you're behind when you pretty much have to sacrifice the Wisp every single time just to get your Tiny some measure of farm. And look how aggressively Newbee's playing right now.
They really want that Wisp to burn, relocate defensively
every
every
keep
time.
dying for it.
And Black, at least they get the Avalanche, and well, he is still quite strong. But how
Newbee's
understand that he's
Wisp.
here with that blink forward? He's checking on the other side. Like, that was one of the shortest blinks ever.
He's poking around, Toad.
He goes from one side of the trees to the other.
Look at this bottom push. This goes to show you how far ahead Newbee is the fact that they're showing 2 heroes at top, and they can't TP there too. And they're still willing to push all the way to the tier 2 because they know that Fnatic can't contest them.
Yeah.
It's almost like a challenge at this point. Come at me. Try to fight into a BKB Blink Dagger SF. See what happens.
And if they had the Wisp Tiny, then maybe it'd be possible. But as you said, like, Newbee understood that Fnatic was split. Black could not be brought back.
Oh, Mushi at bottom lane.
He's in a world of hurt. He's trying to kill off the Darkseer, but with the charge moving forward, Newbee, they're just grouping up as 5 now. Like, House sitting on the back lines. They just want to try and take out Roshan while Mushi's down. Got a good chance to do this. And Fnatic have to let it happen. Like, they have to learn to like it.
There's no real way to contest this anymore, even with the considerable amount of stuns that they have.
But they can get something bigger. Like, you take out that mid tower, it's the money for the Earthshaker. Ohio gets time to farm up on the top. So the tier 1 tower drops pretty quickly because obviously it's tiny Aghanims.
They wasted the fort too, which is not insignificant. They've got that tier 1 at bottom, but this is going to allow Fnatic to go for the split push that they desperately needed in this top area. And most importantly, Black is starting to finally find some farm and some levels.
Yep. So this is an inevitable thing. Fnatic knew they'd lose all their outer towers. There's still a tier 2 left up on top, but that's all. Ohio, he's so close he can smell it. He's 25 gold away. Just this one catapult. There it is. The Blink Dagger is now up for the Earthshaker. He very quickly TPs out. And Jisbug, yeah, he stops. The charge does keep going in Black. Omni Slash. It doesn't get mopped up by enough by the creep wave. The relocate save, but doesn't come in time. They lose Tiny. And they're going to lose DJ as well. As Newbee prepare the death ceremony.
Poor Wisp. This is the most frightening experience of his life. So many heroes around him. Absolutely no chance to survive there. But if you're Fnatic, you have to take risks like that. But those are more individual errors than team errors because they should have been in position within each other to be able to get it off every time, but unable to do so. And the overall team strategy makes sense. You trade the Wisp to buy yourself a little bit more time, force Newbee's hand, force them to kind of get aggressive around the map inefficiently. But with that error, they're going to lose 2 heroes that they definitely didn't want to lose.
They do at least take out the tier 1 tower on bottom lane, so Fnatic are getting more done with this combo than they did earlier today. And Mushi taking more space. With the Blink Dagger Yule Scepter on him, another 1700 gold. The Aghanim Scepter won't just be an imagination thing. The Earthshaker's got the jump in option. And he's not a bad level. Like, it's level 10, getting closer towards level 11. So then you have your level 2 Echo Slam with the 3 points up in the Aftershock. Yes, you're going to lose your outer towers. Sure. Fnatic are prepared for this. This battle is going to happen around their tier 3 towers, or it won't happen at all because their split push is so strong.
Yeah, part of the problem right now is that the Juggernaut is so mobile that nobody can really afford to stay outside for very long, and they've got so many ways to counter-initiate. You've got the Darkseer, who now has the Blink Dagger and the Guardian Greaves completed on himself. Mu has the Blink Dagger and the BKB, so if you think logistically about how a fight goes, Fnatic goes in, if they don't instantly pop the BKB carrier, then the Guardian Greaves come in, he pops his own BKB, you've got a 2-way defense system with the Guardian Greaves and the sleep from the Bane. The Nightmare is a really good defense mechanism too against Fnatic's lineup. So if you don't immediately go down, you'll always get the BKB off, completely turn around the fight. Fnatic, if they're going to take a fight, they have to play it perfectly.
Yeah.
It's who you engage on.
Or so you just like don't engage on. So I'm still looking at.
It's hard though.
Like,
You have magic burst damage, but look at what Bananas picked up right now.
They got to relocate out of here right now. There's a lot of support coming down, but Ohio, they prepped this trap a long time ago, and how he gets into the spin, the Fiend Strip is off, and Blackie needs help right now. He doesn't have it, not with the back man to a 3-man wall. Blackie's trying to retreat, but there's just nothing more to give. They'll lose the entire gang squad on bottom. And Ohio just wants to TP himself home, get away from this nightmare. How? He's going to find him in the trees, but it's too late. The TP is completed. The Echo Slam is blowing. They prepared that gank for the last minute and a half. They used the Observe Ward in the mid lane to understand just how many players from Newbee were coming down. They saw the charge coming. They saw the players rotating, yet they still decided to take fight.
The speed at which Newbee retaliated for that and immediately helped their Juggernaut was insane. Like, there's no way that Fnatic thought that it was going to go like that. They assumed that How was going to be a free kill, but he was able to get the spin off, and at that point, Fnatic had lost all hope. And now with the Echo Slam down, that was the high ground defense mechanism. It was the level 11 for the Earthshaker 2, Toby. So that wasn't an insignificant tool whatsoever. That was your one-off shot to be able to kill a core hero and maybe slow down the Aegis push. But without the Echo Slam available now, I think Newbee is going to be pretty fearless in this attempt.
They have to stall up for a minute. That's what Fnatic needs. They at least have some half-decent wave clear. And that's going to make it difficult for Newbee to get in straight away. But now they just try and split it up. So How takes the creep wave off the bottom, but it's the jump in. It's the Lacuna Blade, but move.
Oh,
he
gets
just takes
dodged.
through all of it. Ohio, he can't do anything more. Chizbug will be thrown up. The Yule Step is also doing its work. But what more have you got? Newbee are going underneath your tier 4 towers, almost to your fountain, and then taking out all of Fnatic. The Rax hasn't gone down, and already it kind of feels like this game is over.
I think at this point what Fnatic are doing are probably having a strategy session and using this time to kind of regroup, gather up, and talk about what went so horribly wrong for them. Because oftentimes you'll see a team that'll simply say, okay, we just got outdrafted, the game's over, it's fine, let's just go to the next one. But in this one, they truly want to understand what went wrong. They want to talk amongst themselves and say, how did it go so badly? Were the trades that we made really this terrible? How do we adjust from this? Because this is a pretty crushing loss.
It really is. They've only got one more hope, so it's not over yet. Fnatic believe they are in this game. They just need one huge combo when Newbee screw up. Like, that's the only way this is really going to work for them.
You might as well go for it. You haven't seen what the Earthshaker Echo Slam into the Tiny has been able to do quite yet. And so you might as well use that opportunity, get it off once, see how close the fight is. If at that point your team gets trashed, then you can call it a day. But before that point, why even bother really calling it? I think Fnatic understand how far behind they are, but
they don't have vision on How. Now,
already gets a spin.
Yeah. Ohio needed him to stand there and just keep attacking normally. Then that fish would have done its work. He could follow up with his stun. Black could do his as well. Also to note too, the Black has changed up his build. He is looking for the Assault Cuirass after going for the casual Yasha. We might talk about this one a little bit later. Chizbug, Fisher, just get the hell out there. Move with the BKB for the fact they may not have a choice. Even DJB thrown away. The help from Mushi will arrive, but you've already lost your Earthshaker. Now you lose Mushi as well. The relocate save will arrive. But this is another time when DJ is going to drop. Another Echo Slam burnt as well. And another parade of death for the Wisp. You thought it was a nightmare before.
Oh, he actually got the...
He disrupted him inside the base and the relocate dragged him out.
Yeah, that... I can't imagine that working, but you've got to see it to believe it first. But Newbee is so far ahead right now, 30k gold. Fnatic is definitely a good enough team to understand right now the position that they're in. The Echo Slams just aren't providing enough. I look at the Juggernaut's farm alone, 720 GPM on him already, 2400 HP, 19 armor. The stats alone speak for themselves, Toby.
And you look even more at the care factor. Mu just walked in through the mid, took an avalanche with Tiny sitting in front of him, and didn't care. Like, I don't think he even cared if he got tossed back with his BK beat down. Mu just stood his ground against Fnatic.
Newbee can just chill for 2 seconds. They've got the BKB coming up online on the Shadow Fiend once again. I think there's no reason to push without it. It doesn't look like Fnatic wants to give up quite yet. They're going to fight this until the last Rax. But Fnatic, you don't really have too many more opportunities. Losing another huge fight and losing Rax on top of that would probably be your death knell.
Newbee are coming. the smoke initiation, just to get them inside the base of Fnatic. They want to get the first pickoffs. By getting that, they win the fight, and they know it. So the blink forward into the Omni Slash, it grabs the SD as well as the Earthshaker together. Not a single ability was actually cast there by Fnatic, and they've already lost their offlaner, as well as that one big support hero, the one that stops initiations like that with disruption. And GG is the call. Fnatic, they will lose game 1 this best of 3. Newbee looking strong, looking secure, and looking very stable in their draft.
Yeah, that's probably the best way that I would actually describe it, looking stable in their draft. They picked to their strengths. It looked like they were able to get good defensive control of their jungle, and from there, all they had to do was weather the storm of Fnatic, and it just felt like Fnatic ran out of ideas. At that point, they ran out of steam.
Yeah.
From there on, Newbee take a fairly dominant victory.
I'm wondering if we see more safer draft now coming out from Newbee. You see, like, a draft where DJ doesn't have to go onto the Wisp, but they don't have to rely on